All right. O great spirit of the south, protector of the fruitful land, and of all green and growing things, the noble trees and grasses, grandmother earth, soul of nature, great power of the receptive, of nurturance and endurance, power to grow and bring forth flowers of the field, fruits of the garden. We pray that we may be aligned with you so that your powers may flow through us and be expressed by us for the good of this planet Earth and all living beings upon it. The way of the healer, the direction is south, the element is earth, the creatures are four-legged, the resource to human is love. The kind of meditation is a lying meditation or laying meditation. Way of living, right speech. The fourfold way, pay attention. Healing salve, storytelling. Instrument, drum. Season, spring.
Today, we are focused on the third pearl in We Start In. So we did W and E, and today we are going to do S. So,
Slapping skeeters, starburst sunrise, slipping southward, stretching slave straps, searching soul, spirit strain, sublime self seeking sustenance, soaking sulfur streams, sultry sway shore, sketch synergy, surf seas, shallow suds, salt spray, sandaled sandy shoe. Snow cones, sweet sour scented savories, sparkling, shimmering, swift sap suckers, sweet slicks and stained skins, sensual survival, seismic souls, supple surrender, sweeping scenic sunshine swells, sky,
sky.
sky.
Okay, so the letter is S, and I just want to say I'm going to focus on sunlight, sea and surf, sulfur and skin. I am moved by the vision of Ash Mufareh, who is creating products to be sold in our businesses for us founders, so that we may have time and money freedom to provide us an opportunity to mature as human beings, able to impart more loving kindness, more generosity, more value in the world, not only for ourselves, but for at least one other person. So this is what moves my presentations and these pearls. So let me begin by talking about sunlight. What does sunlight actually give us? Why would I want to talk about sunlight? How does sunlight feed the human body? Why is it so important to Black and brown people, especially those living outside of the tropics? These are the questions that's moving the sunlight and sun rays discussion forward. So the sun rays give us UV rays, serotonin that helps the body make the important nutrient vitamin D. What I really want to say about vitamin D, essentially, the important message I want to express here is that Black and brown people need more sun than other humans with lighter hues of skin. It translates to more vitamin D to us. what does vitamin D do in the body that makes it so important? We use vitamin D to strengthen our immune system so that we have a good quality of life. We don't get sick all the time. It's good for bone strength and against osteoporosis. So you don't get bone loss and your bones get soft and you fall down and break them. For regrowth of hair follicles, also to reduce blood pressure. So to have good, strong blood and to improve our sleep and to reduce cancer risk. So blood health is an important piece for us. Very important. So everyone who's over the age of 18 really needs at least 400 units of vitamin D. So it's actually between more like 400 and 800 units of vitamin D daily. You cannot OD. It won't kill you. You cannot OD on it. It will not kill you if you have more. If we're having difficulties, for example, if you're one of the people who have taken the shot, if you're having difficulty with blood, then you need to consider taking maybe between 1,000 units and 800 units, 8,000 units of vitamin D, just to help yourself to get through the difficulty with the blood. But although we need vitamin D, it really works best with 4 other nutrients. The 4 nutrients are about 100 units of vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 is like a new discussion. It was something that was left out. And then there's about 500 units of magnesium. And then there's also calcium that we need. And then there's vitamin C. And all 4 of them are needed for your body to actually take the most from vitamin C. You need all 4 of them. So these 4 key nutrients make vitamin D work well for our bodies.
Small note. It is suggestive and better for the intake and synthesis and best use to separate your magnesium from your vitamin D3 intake.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So vitamin D3, vitamin D2 is a group of fatty steroids responsible for absorption in the intestinal digestive process. And we can get it from many foods as well. Like people get it in vitamin D and E and eggs and fish and whole grain and orange juice and so on. But the key thing is, if you have calcium and you have the right amount of calcium and you don't have those other nutrients, you can have difficulty with calcium. It could clog up your veins. These are the people who go and have heart operations for their, yes, and these sorts of things.
Not enough water, so they get what they call those stones.
Yes, gallstones. Gallstones. Through being in the sun, we can feed our bodies by having at least 3 to 4 hours of sunlight, in direct sunlight in the middle of the day. Our bodies will receive the much needed vitamin D for one day if we can be in the sun. If we are Black and brown people, we really do need at least that much sun. And you know, we're all born, according to RuPaul, we're all born naked. We're all born naked. And then everything else is drag. So when you're in drag and you cover your arms and you cover all the way to your neck, or you in the house all the time, then you need to remember that you're not getting the vitamin vitamin D. Hello, Lily, welcome. You're not getting your
Thank you.
vitamin D, right? Many of us Black and brown people become deficient because we're no longer living in the sunlight. How can we choose to help ourselves? We can take a good supply of vitamin D every day. Okay, so at this point, I want to talk a little bit about skin. You know, we need to just love the skin we're in. Please consider that both our inner and outer skins need nourishment and care. So I want to leave a question in the room. So how to heal and care for your skins, both inner and outer skins? So at this point, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to take care of your outer skins. Let me mention first, this is lovely. Let me mention first a few functions of healthy skin. There's sensation. It's a sensual, it's a sensory organ. It's a protective membrane. It's the biggest organ of its kind in the body. It helps to regulate your temperature, and it stores blood just under the skin. It's an immune organ to detect infections. We need healthy skin and to actually have vitamin D production. It works well against water loss, particularly if you're in a hot place like the desert or something like that. So the largest organ of protection against external factors like chemicals, germs, bacteria that causes infection. So I want to suggest, this is my list of things that I use for my skin. I've given myself quite a list because sometimes I don't have everything. Sometimes I mix it all up. Sometimes I add some lavender to it, because lavender is a good essential oil that is very good for antibacterial and so on. So let me mention, so for 5 or 10 minutes of care is often enough to gently cleanse and moisturize for most of us who have Black and brown skin. And we often have concerns about dry skin and uncomfortable skin irritations. So I have chosen to only rub or feed my skin, because it's a place to feed your skin as well, to feed my skin with things that I eat. And that includes coconut oil, cocoa butter, shea butter, avocado oil, castor oil, or apricot oil, apricot seed oil, and then there's also lavender oil. Every one of these things on the list is edible. And to eat it, you will get the nourishment as well. Though a lot of people are not trying to eat it. And then you have to consider that some of these oils are not just gentle for the body, they also die if you heat them. So you don't want to do that because you want the full benefit on your skin and you want the full benefit on your inner skin. So when you meet somebody who's covered over with acne or pimples or whatever that is, you can assume that they have the same kind of difficulty on the inside, on the skins inside. So when I talk about skins inside, I'm talking about from where you swallow in your mouth all the way to your rectum. Those inner skins, the colon and all that, all the way down. So when you have difficulty that shows up on your outer skins, rest assured, it's also going on your inner skins. Okay. So I'm going to repeat my question again. So how do we heal and care for our skins, both inner and outer skins? I want to leave this question with everyone on the Zoom, and I want to invite you to think about it. Now I'm going to touch on surf and sulfur. So the surf, we understand, right? We come from the tropics. We live in the tropics. We understand the benefits of just sitting by the dock of the bay. Mm-hmm. We understand that just that would calm us out and we would feel better, right? Mm-hmm. Come back, come back. Okay, so we in the Caribbean also know well the benefits of going to the ocean to wash away blight, using lemons rubbed on the skin. Half an hour of soaking in the surf will also help us to remove the stings of too many mosquitoes, sandflies, and no-see-ums. You know those ones you can't see? No-see-ums, tiny. Like you and all your business. So half an hour soak in the surf would actually take away the skin of that, and it would take away most skin irritations, the sting of that, and help the skin to heal. So another thing that we can use coming from the tropics, because we can find it there, is sulfur. As a child, just before returning to skin, our grandmother fed us a dose of sulfur. It smelled like rotten eggs. And for a while, our bodies carried that smell too. But it took us out of all the usual illnesses that children get, the flu and so on, right? I remember living up against my grandmother and not being sick with anything at all until finally one day I had to stay home. What was it? I was in a school. We were 4 Black children in a school full of Indians, and somebody had lice in their hair and we got it. And that was the one thing that took us out of school. So half an hour soak in a natural sulfur bath have many positive benefits to the body. The locals say that you must return to the sulfur bath at least 3 times to claim the real healing benefits that the sulfur bath offers. It refreshes both body and soul. I'm going to just go in here. So we have sulfur baths. We've talked about the oils and whatnot. We haven't talked about the muds. And we also know we can use the muds. When you go to the sulfur bath, there are sections you can take the mud and rub it on you. But there are other great muds in the world that people do the mud bath and whatnot. Similar story, feed the MSM, methyl sulfonyl methane powder, is a product made from sulfur. They've taken out the smell of rotten eggs. Taking a little of this daily helps to relieve joint pain. There are many applications for this product. It is used for skin, for hair, for gums. It is used for irritations. It is used to get out of pain. So, but should you decide to go out looking for this product to buy to help yourself, consider looking for it in its purest state of powder, because it comes mixed for the hair, for the skin. No, you want the pure one. And my suggestion is, because it's bitter, that you start a little bit on your toothbrush and work it into your gums. That's a good idea. That's really a good suggestion. Anyway, what of those who live snowside? Oh, shoes, scarves, snow, cold, sweaters. Okay, stop fooling around, get to the task. Okay, so if you're one of those people who got curious and you decide to travel to the Americas or some other place that's cold, as soon as it becomes a little bit cool, you want to apply a scarf to your neck, because what you're trying to do is reduce getting colds and so on, chills and sore throats and this sort of stuff.
So it's head, neck, and feet, right?
Okay, so yes, so okay, my tip for people who want to be out in the cold, you have to consider that the most important thing you have to understand is that when you're in the cold, you lose more heat, easier to lose heat from your head, from your hands, and from the soles of your feet. So you do have to prioritize that if you're thinking of being warm, and of course your neck. And also, if you're going to go out and if you're going to go out and buy a pair of shoes or boots for the winter, then you really have to think about how to get something that's a little bit bigger than your usual size. You're not looking for those stylish things that are very close, because you're thinking of maybe putting 2 pairs of socks in there, one cotton and one wool. So you need a little room in there. And if you go out and you buy a sturdy pair of waterproof walking or hiking boots, then you'll probably be set for the winter without experiencing the pain of freezing toes. A good plan when you're dressing for winter, maybe to think of the things that you put on under your coat as layers of skin. So if it's only a little bit warm, maybe one layer with a short sleeve. If it's really cold, you might want 2 layers under your coat. You might want a long sleeve. You might want even 3 layers. I have found it to be, I prefer under my coat, in order to stay warm, I prefer natural fabrics like cotton, silk, or wool. Wool, of course, not near to the skin, but still, it could be the 3rd layer.
Well, I know that furs are not popular anymore, but I remember the days when you were sporting yours.
I had a lover who gave me furs. Wow. What can I do?
Okay.
What can I do? I was young.
TMI.
I was young. All right.
Oh boy.
So dressing for winter is something that we need to consider seriously. So after playing outside for a while in the cold, you might find that you stop that and your feet are frozen cold and your fingers are frozen cold and your ears are frozen cold and it's stinging, it's burning. So when you go inside, please do not put warm water on that. Do not put hot water on that. That is something you deal with cold water. The reason why you're using cold water is you don't want your hands or your fingers or your ears to burn. If you put warm water, it will turn into a burn. So you want to use cold water for that. So when you get inside, put your hands into a bowl of cold water, it's going to feel really cold, but it's better than putting warm, which will burn you. So that's where I got to near to the end of everything for today. So I just want to say thank you for listening. I hope that this pearl is useful to somebody and that it would make a difference in your life when you need it. And I plan to be on the webinar so that I can answer questions. Thank you all very much.
Kindred spirit. A kindred spirit is someone who truly knows us, understands us, and often feels the same way we do. We feel comfortable and safe with this person and accept it as ourselves. We can say very little to each other and yet share a great deal. One reason these relationships seem so rare may be that we don't let them unfold. We may play roles with others, never letting them see who we really are. We may give up on relationships at the first misunderstanding. We may not take the time to grow in trust and empathy for each other. We may believe that such relationships just can't happen for us. But we may have more opportunities to find kindred spirits than we believe. Others may actually have more in common with us than we think possible. In fact, we may all be kindred spirits. I give my relationships the chance to grow. I am ONPASSIVE. Woo! Thank you very much.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yes, nice. Well put together. All right.
You can stop recording now if you want.
Okay, I was gonna go around and see if anybody had comments first.
Oh, yes,
Comments
questions.
about, yes, within the group. Just see if anyone wanted to say anything about all this learning we just did.
Yeah, any suggestions? Like
Sunlight.
I was trying to figure out an actual exercise that will engage the group in exercise.
Sunlight, sea, soup, sulfur, skin.
But this one should be a lot of fun for Caribbean people because, sunshine.
Snow, and how to buy a good pair of shoes. Oh, I missed something about the pair of shoes.
Oh, did you?
When you go to buy a pair of shoes, it's really important that you go when your feet are already warmed up. I learned that the hard way. If you go just after waking up, your feet are not warmed up enough, they will fit a closer shoe, and then your shoes might hurt you later. So you have to warm up your feet first before you go shoe shopping.
Later in the day for shoe shopping, ladies. Later in the day.
Thank you. Just trying to help.
All right, yes. Someone I know was given a dose of 50,000 milligrams of vitamin D. Vitamin D, but he gets to take it once a week. So
Yeah,
once a week.
The interesting thing about vitamin D, because we didn't give a comprehensive, but you're right. We were trying to say that you can take quite a bit of it, but you have to be kind of in balance, right? Because a lot of people take a multivitamin, but so that has all the vitamins in, so there are limitations inside of those kinds of cocktails. And that's why we were trying to point out that it's better to separate, say, magnesium and take it at night when you're going to sleep. It does the body a lot more than, when you're active in the day, and also when you're taking some of these other vitamins, like calcium counteracts with, what was it? If I remember.
So for calcium, you actually need the magnesium, the K, and the vitamin C.
The K is potassium.
Yeah, there's the C, calcium interacts with B's and some of those, so they're not good together. D's interacts with magnesiums, and so you have to balance that out. So it gets into a way more complex conversation. But simply put, you need your vitamin D's, and you need at least these 3 to 4 other vitamins to break that down and make it work well within your system. And what it's doing is it's boosting your immune system, it's building your bones, and the important discussion about building your bones and mitochondrial DNA and the stuff that's the marrow of the bones. These are all life things, like the things that regenerate you. So if you feed those systems with these vitamins, these 4 or 5 vitamins in synthesis with your water, with your exercise, then you're on your way to optimum health. And then when you get to a certain level, then you up the D, you're taking 1,000 to 8,000 units. And now you're talking about blood health, which is another level of the conversation. But first you want to get to, what are we talking here? This thing here. We want to get to this health.
The solar plexus.
Yeah, you know, your immune system, you want to get that going, you want to get that pumping first, because when you get deeper into these conversations, you start to understand to feed the body. If, for instance, your gut is not healthy, which is where all this synthesis happens, then you might have to deal with, you like to talk about it, that mold in your gut.
Candida.
Yeah, and that is sucking all the vitamins you're putting in. Next thing you're having expensive pee, and you know they talk about it like that. You're just, it's in and out. It's
okay. So this is a vitamins and nutrients is a very big topic, and I plan to give an overview as a beginning point when we get to N.
Yeah.
So I will deal with nutrition, and I will deal with the overview of that, which will include some of the things that we've talked about before. But right now, what I would like to say is, I know that I had a period of time where I was so constipated. I was eating so much meat and my body wasn't moving really well. And I remember at some point, I went to a nutritionist who had me do magnesium twice a day as a stool softener. And it really did work for me. It really did work for me. The other thing that worked for me was vitamin C. But the difficulty with vitamin C, you can go from 1,000 milligrams to 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C. If you want to deal with the fact that you are constipated, you do enough water and you do that vitamin C, and vitamin C will help you to move. You can take enough vitamin C that it takes you to bowel tolerance. That means you go have a movement right away. That's what bowel tolerance means. But it's very different if you're dealing with constipation and things in your colon is not moving really well, then you need both the C and the magnesium. One alone will not clear it. And some people get very ill and you see it all over their skin, and they need to clear out their colon, because colon health is the story about your health. Whether you can eliminate regularly, consistently, that is the story about your health. And that is the story that you need to walk behind and understand.
And even manage your emotional self. So,
well, yeah.
The potassium is good too. And we get a good source of potassium is there's vitamin K, is ripe banana.
Okay, potassium you get in almost everything that is a dark green vegetable and in most fruit, right? You get in all of that. But the vitamin K communication is about the fact that some of the green things that you're using may block it. So when I put on the screen the apricot seed, at some point when I couldn't find vitamin K because nobody promotes it, and it's been 10 years ago when I was learning about nutrition, nobody talked about vitamin K. My teacher did, but it was difficult to know where to get it. But over time, I figured out that I can go and get apricot seeds, and at that point, there was some bad press about it. They were saying that apricot seeds would poison you. But apricot seeds was my way out to get enough vitamin K2 into my body. So I think sometimes we have to look at the natural food that is available to us and understand where do we mix the food and where do we not mix the food so that we help our bodies.
And for those of us living in the Caribbean, it's a wonderful thing because we have all these leaves and trees that we can just go to drinking to maintain optimal pH balance. Ultimately, all of this discussion of keeping our body in synergy, and especially for women, is about our pH balance, right? How acidic is our situation? And so I wanted to say that because on our search, and we found out about the apricot seed, and then the discussion came up about it being dangerous because of its arsenic levels. And then we found out that in the fight against, what do most, the womb issue.
All right, so it was people who suffer, there were a lot of people, particularly in the Black community, who suffered from fibroids, and there's another one, endometriosis, right? So those two are very painful situations that actually come from the body being toxed up so much that it's reverberating on the reproductive organs. And like I said before, when we talked about water, the body prioritizes the heart, the brains, or rather the lungs, the brains, and the reproductive system, right? So when the reproductive system begins to go, because there's so much toxicity in the body and the body's not flushing well or whatever that is, then it shows up as these illnesses. And many of us who suffer these painful things, we just think of it as something we inherited from our family, but it's really about how we eat.
Yeah. And the conversation I wanted to bring around that was in Caribbean.
Can I ask the question, please? I hate to break in, but was this record when I came in? I am really into health stuff like that, and I like anytime somebody's talking about health, I'm always ready to listen. But somehow I did not know that this was going on until I was away from the house, and my granddaughter.
We got you covered. It's recorded.
It's fully recorded.
Oh, good. That's
it's
good.
Recorded, and you will hear the whole thing on Sunday. We just wanted more options because what I didn't want was for it to go so long that it interrupts something else. So I thought if we could tape it first, then it makes it a little easier for us to manage. I'm just trying to have more options for us.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
With you saying this little piece that you just said, Lily, now we understand that you too can offer pearls.
No, I like the way it's going. I like the way it's going, because I thought, this is what I thought. I thought I had missed something on some of the announcements, because I haven't got used to yet trying to operate and listen attentively. I listen the best I can, but I've always missed something. And so because I need to jump off. I told you all about my grandbaby, and the weekend is when she's always involved. I think she got 2 meets today. So the only reason I knew about this, I was getting ready to FaceTime my daughter and say, send me the link. And when I picked up the phone, I thought, oh my.
Don't worry about it. We got you covered.
Yeah.
Good.
And then we have the list of prescriptions here for someone who has who have to take 50,000 units.
Is Lily leaving? Are you leaving, Lily?
In a minute, yes.
Okay.
Yes, okay. So I will pause that. But I just wanted to throw that in the video too.
Yeah, I think it's good. We want to put up some things like that, Amadine. So if you have these ideas, that's excellent. I wanted to say to Lily, I'm not trying to get you to do anything now, but just like you wrote your wonderful poem, and we're trying to get people to give their pearls, just choose one of the ones coming up. We're at S now and starting. We're hoping that people will participate in T, as we said, and in G. But if there are other ones coming that you feel like you have something to say, we would love to hear.
We would welcome your input.
We would more than love to. Our intention is to take all the pearls we can